On my second week of creative composition, I finished the SVS Learn Creative Composition lectures, and I also had a few exercises to go through. One of them, exercise 20, was a master copy, and I decided to work with one of my favorite illustrators rather than a fine art master. So I got Jill Barklem's Brambly Hedge, and I chose this winter scene with the fireplace and Mr. and Mrs. Apple. I wasn't entirely sure how to approach the drawing part, but I ended up getting a ruler and measuring the borders, and then I measured the fireplace in order to anchor my drawing. So I got the distance between the fireplace and the top margin and left the bottom out because it was cover, and then I got the distance between the other end of the fireplace and the top margin and the bottom part that was visible, and also their measurement from left to right. With that, I got the biggest object mapped out and got the basic perspective, so I could work from there. This was the result. At first, I thought of only drawing this page, but I later decided to paint it as well, and to give my best shot to my watercolor, I decided to trace the image to transfer it to watercolor paper. Then I tried to see how the trace drawing would be superimposed to my drawing. The first thing I noticed was my border measurements were a little off, so my drawing was a little taller. So if I try to align the top, there's some extra room in the bottom, and vice versa. Still, I was pretty happy with the result. I drew the little mouse lady here with a bit more of a lean, and also Mr. Apple's chair has also some extra incline, but things were mostly close enough. Then I worked on my watercolor, and I was rather happy with the results. It felt so intimidating to work on this illustration at first that it was a great surprise to see that it turned out to be okay. I am really glad I did this exercise. It took me a very long time, but I had a lot of fun doing it, and I think it built my confidence a little bit. The other exercise I had to work on had a sentence as a prompt to the illustration, but also the requirement of adding 25 items to the drawing. The prompt was about a salamander hiding from a squirrel, and I read it once, and when I went to start the exercise, I had forgotten the particulars of the description, so my first ideas actually do not fulfill the brief. But I gave the exercise a try, and I thought of how I could hide the salamander and then try to arrange things to have all items in place, and got thinking about how I could do it. But then I thought that I might prefer to put all the work into creating a more complex illustration full of items with one of my armadillo characters. So I started thinking how I could do a detailed interior scene, and I could put quite a few little things in her house, and that made me wonder what their house would look like, and I got lost in thoughts. But then I found another course on SVS Learn called Draw 50 Things, and I watched it. I think it is a good course to watch after creative composition because it can help with these last exercise of the salamander and the 25 things, but also because a lot of the concepts that are mentioned in the creative composition course are put into practice to create a scene with one clear focal point and over 50 things illustrated. It's also a course by Will Terry, and it's very good and inspiring. I will link the course here and also a YouTube video from Will Terry in which he presents the Draw 50 Things challenge. I haven't had the time to work on this challenge yet. I hope to do so by the end of this unit, but I used the remaining time I had this week to work into developing one of my thumbnails from last week into a fuller grayscale study. I pondered if I should try to refine and complete this illustration, but I guess I'd better focus on getting other thumbnails to this stage in grayscale and color and detail the pieces later. So I'll focus more on composition at this moment. This week was a lot of fun, and I'm really happy I had the chance to work a bit more with my armadillos, and I was particularly happy with the master copy study. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.